We have kind of a different situation tonight. We have a variance and we have approval of the minutes. So I think first of all, can we just have a motion to approve the minutes from January 28th?
So moved.
Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Aye.
Minutes are approved on the city side.
And the county side. So now we're going to adjourn as the planning commission and convene as the zoning board of adjustment. At this time, the zoning board of adjustment will consider item 1 on the agenda.
Good evening, Commission. Dustin Powers with the County Planning Department. The applicant is requesting to approval to allow the creation of a lot less than 1 acre in size in the agricultural zoning district. The proposed lot measures 148.5 feet by 150, which would be approximately 0.51 acres in size. There is an existing farmhouse on the property that the petitioner would like to separate from the other buildings, structures, and driveways that are owned by Floral Plant Growers, LLC, for the purpose of sale. As you can see, the subject property there, highlighted in red, is also right along the creek there, so it is in the floodplain, and that's another reason to allow the smaller lot size. We look at 5 things when issuing a variance. The first being that specific circumstances or conditions arise that would allow the variance to be approved. Not all situations or events can be covered by the zoning ordinance, and thus a mechanism is put in place to allow a variation to those regulations. The 1 acre minimum lot size reflects the state's minimum lot size for a single family dwelling to allow the dwelling to run off a septic or a well system. Because this is an existing farmhouse and structure that currently already has a septic in place and is a part of the 0.51 acres, there is enough space to accommodate what that state law is requiring. Thus, staff is okay with allowing the 0.51 acres as the lot size. The second thing that we look at is the variance does not grant a use which is not included or allowed in that zoning district. A single family home is allowed in the A1 zoning district, so that isn't changing anything. Number 3 is that due to specific circumstances or the existing conditions, strict application of the zoning ordinance would be an unwarranted hardship. Like I stated, once again, this is an existing structure. It's in the floodplain, so they're basically just platting this off as a smaller lot to separate it from the existing greenhouse use from the rest of the property. The 4th thing that we look at is that granting the variance is not contrary to the public interest. There's already a house there. It's not changing anything. It's allowed in the zoning ordinance under the A1 agricultural district, so nothing is hurt there. And the last thing we look at is that because of the circumstances or conditions, there is no possibility that property can be developed in strict conformity with the provisions of the zoning ordinance. Once again, the property already has an existing house on there that's been constructed on the site. The variance is to allow the house to be separated from those existing operations surrounding the residential use, so therefore nothing hurt there as well. Staff is recommending approval of variance 13-002 to reduce the minimum lot size in the A1 agricultural district from 1 acre to approximately 0.51 acres in size. You've all received a copy of that in your packet. It's just the lot with the dimensions where the house currently is on the property. The septic is directly to the north of the house, and the driveway is to the west of the house, so there's sufficient area there for that as well. So if there's any questions, I could answer those at this time.
Any questions on the city side?
Anybody over here have a question?
Yeah, is it possible that since they're just carving this out of a larger parcel, what prevents them from carving out an entire acre?
The other buildings that are in the area that are on the property.
So they come up roughly to this newly established lot line?
Yeah, so there's a number of greenhouses here that are, and what they're trying to do is separate the residential use from the greenhouse use and the nursery area up here. So to do so, there's buildings on the north end side here as well. To do so, that's the size that they'd come up with. If you go to, further to the east, you're just getting, that takes over the driveway for the business. So they need this area on this side to have access to these businesses back, the nurseries back here, the greenhouses. There's a driveway on the west side of the house here. So basically they're separating the residential use from what's being used for the nursery, and 0.51 acres is about the maximum they can get out of that.
Yep, and I got but couldn't they grant an easement if they went to the west?
Or to the, yeah, they could.
And could they get to an acre then? And then do they need the variance? I'm just asking.
Then they hit the river.
Yeah, I still don't
And the
think
floodplain, yeah.
there would be enough area.
Just a bad location all over. Yeah.
Got it. Just
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah.
ask.
No.
Because the way they choose to carve it up is their decision.
Right.
It's not a hardship. So.
It'd almost be like lakefront property.
Yeah. What a deal. Beach. Yeah. Okay. Just asking.
Any other questions? Did we take testimony on zoning ordinances too? Okay. Thank you. Is the applicant here? Can you step up to the mic and introduce yourself?
Sure, good evening. I'm John O'Donoghue. I'm CFO with Floral Farm Growers, and I guess I can just echo pretty much what's in Dustin's report. And to your question, we tried to get the lot as big as we could to an acre. We're probably within about 30 feet of the existing greenhouse structures on the north and the east. And as Dustin said, the driveway, the commercial driveway that the trucks drive on is to the west, and then Skunk Creek is right next to that. So that's as big as we could carve out to get the septic within the property and the residential driveway in the property.
Any questions for John?
Any questions on the city side from the petitioner?
Great, thank
Great,
you.
thanks.
Is there anybody in the audience wishing to speak to this item? All right. We have a motion, discussion.
I'd move approval.
Okay, we have a motion for approval.
Second.
A motion, a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, thank you.
Chair would entertain a motion on the city side. We have a motion, would there be a second? We have a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed? Motion passes on the city side.
Very good, then, I don't know if you were aware, item 3 was withdrawn, so basically we're,
No, we want item 3.
meeting next month.
So are you saying that's all there is for us?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion for adjournment on the city side.
We have a motion, is there a second? All in favor, signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed? We're adjourned on the city side. Thank you, guys.